Hey, what's up, everybody? Uh, got a couple of requests today. Actually, over the last couple of days, been people have been talking about Ethereum and the $400 target that I've been on, and the guys that have been following me have been on too, and they wanted a little recap. So I thought I would give them that recap and share it with you guys. So let's get over to the chart, so you don't have to keep looking at me. Let's see here. There we go. Um, Ethereum against the dollar on Coinbase. That's what I'm using because that's what the guys are trading off of, and that's what the request was for against the dollar on Coinbase. What's on the chart? The white dotted lines are trend lines. The red lines here are Fibonacci retracements. Uh, Down below, just using the ADX today. The white line is the actual ADX. The red is the negative directional index, and the green is the positive directional index. And right now, the positive is elevated above the red, and the ADX is increasing, getting into that zone for some strength for trend. Again, for the bulls, which is a good sign, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So what's going on here? One thing I'm looking at, and I've been looking at this 23.6% retracement level, which is about $398, which is, close to the $400 that we're looking at. You take the high here and the low here, and that's where I get that from. So that $400 target is what I've been eyeing, and this is the area that we bought is off the break of this white dotted trend line. There's another white dotted trend line here. I did not do any trades off of this one, but if you would have if you would have done it here, this is what I wanted to kind of show you was it's not it's something that technicians use as a guide for maybe a minimum target based off of a trend line break, and of course if you have you know the backing of your indicators of whatever you follow to give you that comfort to get to take on that target. But if you take the longest or the furthest rate of change from the trend line. So like we're looking at this one right now, this one right here, this white dotted trend line. If you take the rate of change here, and I'll just mark them with white arrows, uh, and let's clone it up here. If you get the same distance from the break of the trend line, and we'll put it right about the break point there. If you would have traded off of this and followed this up to this objective, you would have taken profit in this area of consolidation with this little white oval. So if you go straight across here, it's probably right around 250 bucks. You get in at about 100 and 130 or so, and then you get out about 250. So a nice trade there if you did that. What another one to look at is the other one, the other white trend line. Let me get rid of this thing here, get it out of the way. You take this rate of change, uh, and you go to the breakout point of the trend line, which is right here. Right on the trend line here. It's kind of rough, but this is where this Fibonacci line comes in, right around that $400 target. And one of the reasons I like this is because of some of the internal indication. One of the things I liked was when the ADX, even though the ADX was dropping and it was getting all tangled up with the directional indexes here, um, of course, I like to follow the Fibonacci line. So if you take some Fibonacci's in here, like at this point, this is the break point of this line. You take the Fibonacci right here. Let me move it out here so you can see what I'm looking at here. The 61.8% level is right here. So as this was coming down and kind of testing to see if the bears would take over, it wasn't happening because the support was holding at 61.8% level. Now, if we move it up uh, to the next break point or the next level here, at that point, and go with the same thing to this point. So you're at this low to this high. The 61.8% level is right here. So as it broke, and it didn't look like it was going to go anywhere, but it held the trend line right here. And actually, I bought, I can't remember exactly what day it was, but it was right around 160ish or so. when I did, and it was when this ADX was starting to kick back higher for the bulls, and I was thinking, okay, it held here support, and it started to take off above the 61.8% level, and started to take off. So, and I've been long since with a $400 target off the break of this trend line. So that's what we're kind of looking at the moment. I still like it there. Uh, another thing you can look at is a possible uh, uh, what do you call it, flag pattern. I was having a brain fart there for a second. If you take the rate of change here off of this move right at this point, and then if you had this area of consolidation, and then we've broken out of that area of consolidation to the upside. So if you clone this bad boy up and move it over to uh, the low here before the breakout, which is right about this point, it matches up with the 23.6% level at around 398 bucks also. So you got a trend line break, and you got this continuation pattern of a possible flag type pattern to the upside, which I like, because now since we've busted out to the upside here, I was considering taking profit in here, but it was still hanging above these moving averages. And now that we're getting momentum behind it, I want to kind of hold it out a little bit. So one thing you can watch for by staying long right here is these moving averages as your support guide. You could also take the trend line here. Um, there's this trend line here, but then you can also take another one from this breakout point and work its way to the upside right here, and use this as your guide of support on the way up. So as long as we're trading above this trend line, I'm good. If we break this trend line, I'll probably take profit because it'll likely drop back down to this trend line. But one thing to keep in mind, keep an eye on those moving averages, which right now I got the 34, the 55, and the 233 on here. So if the 34 crosses down through the 55 here, that could be a first signal. But right now it doesn't look like it's gonna, because we're breaking out to the upside, which I like, and we're currently at 304. So we can get almost another $100 on this thing as we move toward that target. So that's what I'm kind of looking at for Ethereum at the moment. Uh, Again, not financial advice. I'm just trying to give you some areas of some support so you can make your own decision of to get in or out or not. I'm just saying that's kind of what I'm looking at, to where I'll probably be getting out if I break this trend line to the downside. But right now, I like what I see. So let's ride this thing up and make some profit. All right. Again, uh, I'm out on Twitter at FiboSwanny. If you like what you see here, like it, share it, subscribe, uh, help me out. I like doing this. Any questions, comments, concerns, just feel free DM me out on Twitter. I'm FiboSwanny. Peace out. Have a good evening.